Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good morning. There's a lot going on. There's a ton going on. Let's start off with Coinbase. So Coinbase, sorry about that, but the hands have to be fairly decent. Coinbase has stopped support, or Coinbase Commerce has stopped support for UTXO as well as Bitcoin. Apparently, volatility is causing issues on the platforms. A lot of manual intervention has to happen, so they've stopped that for a little while. Something else that's also big news is that they are now going to support. They're going to actually integrate Solana and Lightning Network. And that's a big deal. That's a very big deal when you start to think about, how fast transactions can happen. Solana is a fast network, and Lightning Network is going to do the same for Bitcoin. So we'll see how that all works out. But right now, I'm expecting their stock to go up because of those announcements. Now, FTX, instead of looking toward relaunching the platform, which I thought was stupid, they're actually going to start taking applications from their creditors so that they can start being repaid. I think that's far more important than restarting some cheesy ass exchange. Excuse my language, but hey. So that's actually a very big deal. So that I'm very happy about that. Ethereum. So in the Ethereum universe, we all know about Vitalik Buterin. He is elated about Verkle trees. Now, the issue with Verkle trees is that it's expected to actually decrease times, decrease the amount of use of storage space, that it takes to support everything, as well as increase decentralization. Because think about those entry points now. You need less disk space. It's going to be faster. All of those things are a very big deal. And again, the push toward further decentralization. That's a big deal. And if you compare that to, Bitcoin, you can still mine Ethereum. Bitcoin, you can't. It's finite. There are differences why you would want to work with different coins. And this is obviously one of the ways that can happen. Something else that's up. So a managing director from Ripple has decided to take the helm over at Crystal Blockchain. If you don't know who Crystal Blockchain is, they are another security firm within the cryptoverse. So that's actually a very big deal. This man's name is Navin Gupta, and he's got years of experience starting from traditional finance like at Citi. So the guy's got the chops. So I want to see where they're going with this. And what they're doing is they plan on increasing their intelligence services, because that's what they do. So it's going to be interesting to see what they come out with. Interesting to see, how they get out there, because I didn't know the name until today. And if you look at, companies like Chainalysis and others, they're releasing reports on, hey, this is what's going on. Hey, this is what happened. I want to see if Crystal Blockchain winds up doing the same thing to grow their name and awareness in the space, because that would be smart. Now, Ripple's global expansion plans are actually underway, and they're doing very well. So that's actually something else that I'm paying attention to. Just who else, where else, how else are people leveraging XRPL? From a stock perspective, because I do expect an IPO this year. From a stock perspective, I'm thinking that's going to be huge. From an XRP price point perspective, I also think that's going to be a big deal. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Something else that hit the market is ARK Invest. So I have been scratching my head as to why she would sell, why Cathie Wood's ARK Invest would sell over $34 million worth of Coinbase shares ahead of Q4 earnings. And I guess they just felt like they wanted to hedge their bets. So they took out 34 mil to do with whatever they please. Then after Q4 earnings, they dropped another 90. So about another 124.3 million, right, in Coinbase shares dropped over that quick time period. So you can imagine what they're going to do. Just saying. So we should be paying attention to all of that. All of this news. So people like to go into, the numbers tell you that this is going to happen, that this is going to happen. I like paying attention to the news. Yes, I look at charts. I read charts just like everybody else. But I like listening to the news because the news is telling you what happened, what is happening, and what is going to happen. All of which would have an impact on my investments. And yours as well. That's why I pay attention to it. Now, the reason why I called out ARK Invest is because look at how they actually handled the selling of that $124 million plus worth of Coinbase a little bit before the Q4 and then the bulk of it after. Talk about hedging one's bets. Good move. Smart. Stock was already doing well. I know they made money. Then they came back and said, oh, stock shot up. We're going to take advantage of that too. So let's shave some profits. Not mad about that. Not mad about that at all. But you can also see how there's an influx because, between ARK Invest and 21 Shares, they have their Bitcoin spot ETF. You can see how so much money is floating into the Bitcoin spot ETF space that everybody's scratching their head. Right now, you want to know who's scratching their head the most? Grayscale, because they knew they were going to dump some. They did dump some, and now they're figuring out, holy crap, we didn't mean to dump that much, or we also meant to dump some, but also gain inflows, and they're not gaining those inflows. Why? Because everybody else is cheaper. 1.5 versus 0.2? Are you serious? And the arrogance of their CEO to go on international television talking about, well, we know what we're doing. That's why we charge so much. You mean to tell me that you really know more than the people at BlackRock, ARK Invest, 21 Shares, Fidelity, the rest of them? You know more than them? No, you've been in the business longer, but that does not mean you know more. And having a fee at 1.5, yeah, I don't see you getting inflows. You want to know who else is seeing inflows? Vanguard. Vanguard has willfully chosen not to get involved in Bitcoin at all. At all. They're like, nope, we're not touching crypto, period. They saw $30 billion in inflows since the launch of the Bitcoin spot ETFs. That says a lot. That says that what they're doing is tackling the market that doesn't want to be involved in crypto. And they picked up a quick 30 billion in that. Now, does that compare to the inflows that are going on the other side? Yeah, but $30 billion. Holy moly. $30 billion like that. There's a reason why you have different money management firms out there. They have a different perspective on what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. And Vanguard's like, hey, we're sticking to our guns. And people rewarded them for that. That's something to pay attention to. Anyway, you know what we should do? We should get into the numbers. Pull my notes down. So for the most part, you don't really have anybody that's down right there. None of these I'm really paying attention to. You could say dog with cat. I call them out because it's the meme coin right now at 392, almost $400 million in market cap. All right, they're down 6%. Got to see how that plays out. Right, I'm not touching it. I haven't touched it. Anybody else on here? I spoke about Heroes of Mafia a little bit yesterday. Still a very small cap, under $500 million. But I have to say the graphics are ridiculous. So I am kind of paying attention to that. I do hope they do well. Injective is down 2%, basically no change, right? Or 5%, I'm really not paying attention to, just looking at the name so I can remember who's on that side and who's not, right? Cardano's on that side, down 1%. Cardano's already up. You'll see it on the list later. Who's up right now? You see the graph is up. Nervous Network is up. I don't have any bag in either one of them. I'm not touching WorldCoin because I don't like the tech. If you're into it, that's great. Not me. I'm paying attention to Zai. Yes, it's only $361 million in market cap, but I really like their focus in the gaming space, and they're up 21%. 21%. It's huge. That's a huge move. This whole Fetch AI thing, I'm not involved yet. Haven't touched it yet. I'm probably not gonna touch it for a while, but I do know the name. Up 15%. Who else? Let's see. You hold a bag of HBAR up 13%. Yes, I am happy. Stacks again up another 13%. Beam up another 12%. Render 12%. Look at all these names that we're talking about right now. VThor, wow, up 10%. Making moves over there. Making moves. So this is why we pay attention to this stuff. Nothing's going on this week, especially today. It's a holiday. Nothing really going on, just a bunch of people talking. But next week we have some stuff going on. Durable goods orders, new home sales, GDP, the first revision. So we've got some real numbers. We have initial jobless claims, PCE. We have a lot of numbers coming out next week. They're going to give us an idea about what's going on, as far as the economy goes. And you have a lot of Fed speak on Friday. So that's something that we're paying attention to. 75. That's a big jump from 72. That was yesterday. And here's something that's going to really flip your wig. $96.46 billion in total value locked. Yes, it is growing. It is growing by leaps and bounds, and we should be paying attention to it, because this says that there's more and more adoption. And it also says that people are leveraging this space, the cryptoverse, just like they would a bank. Instead of putting their money in a bank, they're putting their money in staking. That's kind of a big deal. And that's why I pay attention to it. Looking at the numbers right now, we're up to 52.92. Again, I don't know where. Let me see. Where is this line right here? You could say that you started breaking right here, if you look right there. And that's fine, but I don't have a line to draw just yet to say, well, this is where we are. You could put a line here, 51.232, but I don't know about that. We'll see how it goes. But right now, I do think we're going to move laterally for a little bit before we see another uptick. And again, with more announcements, with more money going into the space, you're going to see those prices go up. You still have Mt. Gox out there. You still have Grayscale out there. Is it Grayscale? Genesis. It's Genesis that's out there that's got permission to drop, I think, $1.3 billion worth of Bitcoin, worth of Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. That's not going to have an effect. It's not going to have a big effect. Even if they sold at the same time, it's not going to have an effect. Those people from Mt. Gox, they've been waiting all this time. Do you think they're going to sell? Probably not. I know I wouldn't. I mentioned it before. I mentioned about a month ago. I wouldn't sell. I'd be holding on to, because it's money lost and then all of a sudden money gained. Because when Mt. Gox happened, everybody just lost their money. Scramble to make, do what they had to do, but they just lost their money. But they're going to get at least a portion of it back. It's like found money. They've already written off that money, and now they might get some back. For some people, yeah, it's probably a godsend, but for other people, it's just going to be like, yeah, no, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep that exactly the way it is. Especially people that opted for getting paid back in Bitcoin. That's going to be big. We should be paying attention. Who's jumping up right now? I told you a while ago. I told you back when Matic was low that Matic's going to see $1, and guess what? Matic's at $1. I told you connective tissue. Matic is a part of that connective tissue, just like Chainlink and just like Pith Network is growing up to be. So it's a very big deal that we pay attention to Matic, because everybody's like, oh, Solana this and Solana that, Avalanche and all these. Polygon still has a ton of projects going on. They've got more and more dApps and developers going on to that platform than people realize. Just because the other ones are newer, have as much going on, but they're more vocal about it, doesn't mean that Polygon's gone away. We should be paying very close attention to that. All the advancements with ZK, all that stuff, very big deal. Stacks is up big. Kusama is up big. I'm just looking around. Aptos is up big. Filecoin up big. H bar, just saying, pay attention to these things. Who's going up? Actually, let me show you. Who's going up and by what kind of percentage in comparison to others, right? Don't sleep on Ethereum. Why not? Currently, Ethereum's up 27% rather, year to date. Bitcoin, 23. Just saying, right? Depending on when you buy, that's going to be where you're at. So I do pay attention to year to date. I also dates in between. Why? Because of dollar cost averaging. I didn't just buy at the beginning of the year and call it quits. I buy at intervals, regularly scheduled intervals for regularly scheduled amounts of money. That's what I do. I might adjust where I put that, but I say, here's the regularly scheduled time. Boom, let's go. And if you look at it, look at where Ethereum is, knocking on the door of 3,000. Do I think before it hits 3,000? Yes. Do I think Bitcoin will go down before it hits 54.2? Yes. But they're going to go crashing through 3,000 and 55,000 respectively. That's what I think is going to happen. As soon as you start hearing about, pension funds, I told you before that pension funds are going to get in on all this Bitcoin spot ETF stuff. Again, exposure to the cryptoverse without being direct. So indirect exposure is going to work for a lot of people. People like me, I like holding my own coins. I like managing my own future. Boom, there you go. Because they're mine. It's not somebody handling custodianship for me. I got that myself. For other people, they prefer having somebody else handle it. This is why they have money management firms. Just saying. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Don't forget that everything that I talk about is an article on the site that gets released at least 1 hour before I actually air it. Go take advantage. There's more coming. We've got a 2-hour class that's coming, and I'm working on the book right now to support that class. There's a huge extra that's going to be included in the class as well. And then we have another partnership to talk about too. As soon as all that is wrapped up and we've picked out a date, I will let you know. Anyway, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv.